Welcome to Christianarchy today, and just want to briefly talk about a concept. Kind of ask yourself right now, I want to have a question for you. Are you good? Are you good? Are you a good person? Do you have a good heart? Are you a good guy or a good girl? And just ask yourself that question and try to be really honest with your answer. And then you kind of have to say, well, as compared to what when you ask that question? Am I good compared to my neighbor? Well, yeah. Am I good compared to this? Yeah. And so when we ask ourselves, you have to say, as compared to what? Now, Christians often will go about and say, you're not good. There's nothing good in you. You're not good. And biblically speaking and comparatively speaking, that's true. Because what they're comparing yourself to and me to and everybody else to, human beings, is to God. And when you make a comparison to Him, we're not good. In fact, we're pretty downright bad. So all the ways you think about it, if you really give it some thought, outwardly we can appear good. We can have good manners, and we can say yes and thank you and please, and we can obey traffic laws, and we can not kill the neighbor's dog when it annoys us. And there's a lot of things we don't do that make us look better than the other guy. But the good that the Bible talks about is a good relative to God and a good that is seated in your heart. That's the good that we're trying to get to. Is that good? And the thing about that goodness that we like to pretend we are, and we like to say that we are, it doesn't really exist when the right circumstances come up. Just think about it for a second. Does your heart ever feel envy toward someone or something else? Jealousy can be okay, but can you ever be wrongfully jealous? Does your heart ever want to get revenge on somebody? Even if they haven't even harmed you, does your heart want to kill someone you just don't like? Or someone you're jealous of? Or someone you want to get out of the way? Do you ever feel like stealing something? And do you steal it? Do you tell lies because it's convenient to you so that you won't get in trouble? Will you gossip against somebody, knowing that it's not the best thing to do and you don't want people gossiping against you, but will you gossip? And it goes on and on and on. I mean, we can talk about lust, and you can talk about, seeing your best friend's girlfriend who looks really hot one night, and you're like, yeah, So our heart is the seat for the evil that can abide in us. Greed is just insane how it can overtake people. Violence, selfishness. There's a movie series out, not a movie series, but a documentary series out right now on Netflix. It's by a guy named Ken Bradshaw. He's a great documentarian. He did the one on FDR, and he did the one on Prohibition. Well, he's done one on Vietnam. I don't know how you say it. You say it, Vietnam. That's how they say it. And he says that they interviewed these soldiers, and the soldier says the thing that the Vietnam War really showed him, and he was in like 3 different times through, he says it revealed what he called the veneer of civilization. He said you could bring some guy out who was a Boy Scout, who loved his mama, loved horses, and was kind to pets, and was an Eagle Scout. I mean, this guy was great back in old North Carolina. And you put him in that Vietnam War and you surround him with certain circumstances, he says that same guy is willing to kill women and children point blank without a care. That is where this thing gets involved. And it starts to operate by what's truly in us. Any given circumstance, you can take yourself, and if you pass the goodness factor in one area, in all probability, you'll fail miserably in another one. I don't know what those areas are in your life. I've discovered what they are in my life. Just quickly, a quick anecdotal story. I used to consider myself fairly courageous. I really thought I was sort of brave in my life. And I was in a high-rise building in New York City with a roommate who used to drive me nuts. I was in training to be a stockbroker. And after about a week in there with this guy, I could not stand him. And I went out in the hall, and a fire alarm went off. And we were in a high-rise, and I'd always been taught by my fireman father, you got to get out of a high-rise building if there's a fire in that building. And the fire alarm went off, and people were screaming, there's a fire in the building. And I was halfway down the hall. I could have run back because he was taking a nap and told him, and then run out and gone down the building along with everybody else. But I chose to leave him there, one, because I didn't like him, and two, because I was afraid I wouldn't get out. It showed what really abided in the secret, dark part of my human heart. So when people in Christianity talk about you not being good, it doesn't mean that you can't do good things. And it doesn't mean you don't have value to you. In fact, God so loved the world that he gave his only human son. He gave his only begotten son, that if you believe on him, you'll have everlasting life. He gave his son for a corrupt world. So you may not be good, but you are loved. That's the thing. We're not good, but God does love us. So we're not worthless. We have value to a living God who created us. But the key is to get real with yourself. You want to start to enjoy life a little bit better? Start getting real with who you are and start with the heart. Start looking to see what you really are in your heart. And when you're able to finally detect how bad you can be, call out to God and say, give me a new heart. Forgive me. Make me a new woman. Make me a new man. And he steps in and does it. Out!